So, I want to talk to you about why I'm an AI optimist and why I think you should be too. Right now, it's easy to start to feel that AI phobia. We have headlines talking about massive job cuts. We have people who are seeing the impact of this technology environmentally. We're seeing a world which is really uncertain and unsettling. So it's totally understandable why people are starting to feel that nervousness and that fear. But we've got a choice to make, and I'm going to explain to you why that choice should be optimism. So first of all, I want to break down the myth that AI is going to take our jobs, because it's not going to take our jobs. The second thing I want to do is talk about how AI is going to help us do more human work that's more interesting and more impactful. And the third thing I want to do is talk about why AI is actually going to help us solve the superhuman problems that we've actually not been able to solve, those systemic issues that are the unintended consequences of a century of development. So let's start with AI taking our jobs. I don't buy it, and here's why. AI is going to change the complete way that you create and store value in a business. That is going to happen, because what's going to happen is the cost of doing is dropping to zero. And by the cost of doing, I mean creating code for technologists, I mean creating words for writers. That cost to produce, if you choose to take that route, will drop to zero. And that means whether you're creating a strategy or a coding document, the way we've been working is going to fundamentally change. And that's a good thing. We've been trapped inside computers for a really long time. You can actually see the spines of people who've been affected because we are so tied to the technologies that we've had. But now, what's going to happen is work's actually going to become more human, and there's going to be more of it. So right now you're seeing headlines of job cuts across large organisations. And that's because those organisations have historically been storing value in the number of doers that they accumulate. So large consultancies collect the doers together, and that's how they create and store value. And that model is going to really have to change. But they don't make up the whole economy. 90% of the economy are SMEs. And if you've worked in the SME space, they're resource-constrained organisations that are not collecting people together in that same way. And therefore, what's going to happen when that cost of doing drops to zero is those SMEs can grow. And that'll create more opportunity and more jobs. And that's absolutely brilliant, because it also creates a really flourishing economy, an inclusive economy where everyone gets to participate. And I find that really exciting. So the second thing is that the work that we actually do is going to become more meaningful and more interesting, and there's going to be more of it. So we live in a time of abundance. There are so many problems to solve that we are not in any danger of running out of problems. We've got a lot of problems that we've not been able to solve so far because they have been too expensive or too complex for us to be able to logistically manage. And what's going to happen, because the cost of doing is dropping, is they're going to shrink down and actually become manageable from a funding and economic point of view and from an operational logistical point of view. I call those the superhuman problems, and that is what businesses that are creating and storing value in the future are going to focus on solving. And that is hugely exciting for our society and for our world. And then the third thing is that the way we do that work is going to become more human and more meaningful. So right now, I'm working in one of my peak locations in a forest. So when I'm in a forest, when I get to move, that's how my brain works at its best. And that's where my best creativity and my best unique humanness comes to the front. And now the technology is going to allow us and actually force us to consider how we're working. Because so far the economy has been focused on extracting value from people by making them conform. Our education system is designed to make people conform, and then the workplace makes people conform, because that's how people have extracted money and how the economy is run. And that is changing, which is hugely, hugely exciting. And it's really, really good. Because now what's going to happen is your value, and the question you're asking of, where does my value come from? That is going to come from you being you. Being you. It's going to be focusing on your unique humanness and on you getting into those states of peak performance that top athletes have to focus their whole careers on getting into, to be, not to do. And that, in terms of how you're spending your time, in terms of the energy you have, in terms of the health implications, is an awesome place to be. So if we're going to have a world where there's more work, there's more meaningful work done in a more human way, for me, that's something to be optimistic and excited about. That's not something to feel scared of. And so I want you to join me in being an AI optimist.